Hi everyone, I'm Catherine, aka the High Heeled Gamer, and welcome to the Late Night Nerd Show. With me today, I have a very special guest. I'm super excited to talk to him. It's Calvin Chambers from Icarus Metro Comics, and I'm like super excited. So let's get it started. Hi, Calvin.
Hey, hey, what's going on, everybody?
How are you doing today?
It's a rainy day, but with just good health and everything like that, day's been pretty good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm loving your frames right now. Like those are so dope. Like I've been seeing a lot of people have those kinds of like frames like that, and I kind of want to get those. Those fit your face really good. I like it.
They are nice. They are nice. I got them from Warby Parker. I not sponsored, but
Not sponsored. Not it's
not
not sponsored yet. Not sponsored
sponsored
yet.
yet. But definitely some good glasses. You got to invest in a quality pair of glasses.
I like it. I like it. So let's get right into it. So Icarus Metro Comics, it encompasses a lot of stuff. It's not just comic book. You are a multi-talented gentleman running a multimedia company because it's not just comics. What else do
Yes.
you guys do at Icarus Metro?
So outside of comics, we also do short films. I write. So it's just not like writing just comic books, writing novels. If we're getting into actually like providing services to people. With those services, I can ghostwrite for people. I can I can edit for people. Say for example, they need an editor for their book or their comic or their script. I'll be able to provide that type of service. Um, and maybe in the future some technical services because that is my background.
Oh, is it really? Oh, that's dope. I did not know that. I thought it was just the like the writing and the movie stuff. I didn't know tech was your world, your niche,
Yeah,
if you will.
I have a master's in cybersecurity and a
Oh,
master's
so you
in computer
smart,
science.
smart, like
So I'm
smart, smart.
yeah, so that's my background. It's just that, writing with me has always been a creative outlet. I started with poetry, I started writing music, and I always love those open-ended responses for like the standardized tests growing up and stuff. And yeah, when I had the chance to start making stories, start writing characters that relate to me and the people around me and my community, then I took the chance and I came out with Icarus Metro. Us as a team, we came out with Ani Hunter. And we have a bunch of more stories we want to tell in the future. But we gotta take it one step at a time.
Yeah, exactly. So what made you decide to just incorporate all of it? Was it a need or just like I have this passion, I have all these different avenues, let me put it out there. What was it that made you decide to do more than just comics?
Well, okay, so I guess it started with the fact that I didn't think that it was accessible for people or regular people, quote unquote, to make mediums like this. I thought that you had to be a part of a big company. I thought that you had to, have certain qualifications that, I didn't know everybody can do this. When I started making comics, um, I had saw people making their own characters, making their own art at Comic Cons, and I was like, "Hey, I can do this." And that's when I started divulging into the world of comics back in like 2017. Um, but then, when it came to like short films and stuff, you know, there came that learning gap. I didn't know that it was available for people to do. I didn't know that, you know, Dark Knight was Christopher Nolan's like third movie. Like the Batman series was like his third movie or his second movie, something like that. And it was just like, he made the first two movies by himself.
Mhm.
So it's just like, wow, okay, maybe there is something in it for me. If I have these stories, if I have these ideas, if I can write a good script, maybe I can, create these types of mediums for myself. And then I see a bunch of people doing it on TikTok, people doing it on YouTube. A lot of inspiration has definitely been a lot of YouTubers who have been, creating their own short projects. King Batch, King Vader, um, Country Wayne, um, just people like that who I see like making their own content
Mhm.
and then providing that to people makes me want to say, "Hey, I want to throw my hat in the ring." And it's not like I'm competing with anybody,
No, yeah,
but
of
I
course.
have my own stories that I would like to share and I like to
Mhm.
tell.
Yeah, and for me, it's the ones that do it with their cell phones. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, "No way," and they show the proof that they did it with their and it's not like the new, like, iPhones, they've been doing this since, like, iPhone, like, 12 or 11 or something like that, and I'm just like, "How?" To me, that's amazing. So the fact that you found inspiration in those people as well to do your own thing, is really I like that because it's one of those sometimes people get intimidated,
Mhm,
because they see, the end result of somebody's hard work.
mhm.
But you took it as inspiration where it's, "If they can do it, I definitely can do it," you know what I mean? And how did you what was other than YouTube, what were some of the other avenues that you used to help you learn, filmmaking?
Well, too, before we get to that, you said 2 things I wanna touch on.
Mhm.
First thing, I still don't understand how they do it with the iPhone. I found out how to make the video sharper and look nicer, but I still don't understand. Like even this was, the camera that I'm using now was a very expensive camera and it's this quality, but it's not perfect to me, But maybe that's just because I'm a perfectionist. And
Mhm.
you know, there a lot of people, like you mentioned, a lot of people do and are hesitant to start because they see people's end result. And I'm not going to lie and say that I just jumped in and saw it always as inspiration. There has been hesitancy as with anything new, because ultimately you see a bunch of people doing stuff already. And now you're creating something, but you have to almost answer the question, why should somebody look at your stuff when people are already making, I wouldn't say similar stuff, but people are already making stuff in the same category, you know?
Mhm.
Like, why should someone read my stories about the paranormal, the fantasy, the action adventure when there's Demon Slayer out there, when there's Naruto out there, when there's all the Blumhouse films out there with the paranormal activity and stuff. So, there is a little bit of hesitancy, but I'm actually very glad that I have my family and friends to support me and keep me pushing because there is doubt sometimes, and I have them sometimes to say to me, "Hey, you're doing this. You gotta keep going. You're doing great. Doing this, that." Because there's those times at night when you're staying up and you're awake and you're looking in the ceiling, and like, this is difficult. This is too hard. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Um, so I'm very glad that I have them in my life to be able to provide that. Now, when answering your question regarding other inspirations to start my filmmaking journey, I bought a lot of books. I haven't spent this much time in Barnes and Noble since my childhood. um,
Yeah,
you know, I
I
didn't
get
want to
it.
feel like a dummy, but I bought filmmaking for dummies.
I'm not look, back in the day when podcasting and blogging was just gonna I had blogging and podcasting for dummies. I had both separate books, so I completely understand. And like the intimidation thing for me, I feel that with streaming because I was late to the streaming game. So I was like, well, why would anybody want to watch me and do this when, other people are doing it? But you add your own flair to it. So, but you use the books.
Yeah. Definitely use the books, because sometimes YouTube videos can definitely take a lot of time out in a day. So like, I'll have a book, or I might carry a book to me if I'm like traveling to New York City, or if I'm going away for the weekend, I'll just have that book accessible instead of just sitting there watching 100 YouTube videos or going through like a playlist of 100 YouTube videos. Cause that's a little tedious to organize.
Mhm. Mhm.
But a book is kind of just easier. And it's interesting because you're not going through the whole book. You're just going through the index of things you want to learn specifically. Like a couple of things that I've been looking into learning is writing an amazing script, being an amazing director, and I'll leave everything else to my production crew.
You wanna hone in on the skills that you wanna hone in, and you know that other people are talented in other areas, and I think that's one of the cool things about filmmaking too.
Mhm.
It's either, you wanna wear all the hats or you understand, "No, no, no, this is the hat I wanna wear. I wanna do directing and script writing," and then find the producer, find the casting agent, or whatever else you need type of thing, so that's pretty dope.
And me and one of my friends, we shot a short film last year, called Perspective. Not sure when we're going to come out yet. We're in post production. We just got the music for the film situated. But I definitely wore all the hats. When it came to production, and he definitely wore all the hats when it came to filming and editing. So of course, we've definitely learned that next time we do a project that big, um, we get more people involved to handle more roles, because we know that filmmaking is not an easy project. Even with two people, sometimes it can take a very long time, unless if that's all you well if that's not all you do,
Mhm.
because of course we got jobs and lives.
Yeah, that's the tough part is balancing life and then the I don't want to call it's not necessarily passion life.
Yes,
I hate
yes.
calling it a hobby life because it's more than a hobby at this
Mhm.
point when you want to try to make a career out of it.
Yeah.
So passion life, it definitely can be a juggling act for sure. And then you have a Kickstarter active right now
Yes.
for and I'm sorry if I mispronounce it, it's Hunter?
Ani Hunter.
Ani Hunter,
Yep,
I'm so
yep.
sorry.
No, no, you're fine, you're fine. uh
Um, and the lead is Jacob Bills, who is a pro basketball player who ends up having an illness. Um, and then that's as much as I want to say. Is there anything like tell us a little bit more of the synopsis of this comic?
Yeah, yeah. So Jacob Bills, he's a professional basketball player. Of course, we're not going to say NBA, for reasons, but he's a professional basketball player who contracts this paranormal illness. So the world of Icarus is deals a lot with like paranormal powers, aliens, all sorts of like fantasy like beings. So I wanted to just to make sure that when you're reading my stories, when you're reading the stories on the Icarus Metro Comics, that you're understanding that the lore is all the same. So when you read one book, you can it'll be easily translatable to the next. So he contracts this paranormal illness, which is really a little bit undisclosed at this point because it's
Okay.
more like an introductory chapter. Um, and now he finds out that he has to go kill these shape shifting demons in order to take their life energy so that he could live.
Mm.
So this Kickstarter is actually so at BlurCon and DreamCon, I had on me the 24-page version of the book. But the Kickstarter is actually a 40-page version. So I'm
Yeah.
adding two additional stories to the book. So it'll
Oh,
be
okay, okay. So it's more stories to it. It's not like one continuous 40 page.
yes, it's more stories to it.
Okay,
So
okay.
it's two additional stories that are following the events of the first 24.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, we have the whole 40-page book. We have clothing. I'm actually wearing the Ani Hunter tee. This is like a Stonewatch tee, so I'm wearing the Ani Hunter tee.
That's dope. I like that.
We have basketball shorts. We have a beanie hat. I'm actually making a jersey, but it's not on a Kickstarter. So I think
I was
that's
going to ask, so all of these are the rewards to the
yes.
pledges and stuff? So the,
Mhm.
basketball shorts, the shirt that you're wearing, and hopefully the jersey?
Well, not the jersey, not the
Okay, okay.
jersey.
Not a jersey.
Maybe for the second book, maybe for the
Gotcha.
second book.
Okay.
But yeah, those are all the rewards for the first book. We do have like a copy here of one of the covers of
Yeah.
Ani Hunter. And then we have a slam dunk cover. But yeah, I wanted to put this book out because I wanted to just have a book out there with a black male lead. In addition to that, I wanted to have a book out there that was kind of street level. And when I mean street, I'm not talking about like hip hop or anything like that. I'm talking more so of like a person who wasn't so fantasy like, someone who was like, the story showed a little bit more of realism, a person going about their day, playing their career, And then at night going about what, because we all have our secondary things that we do outside of work,
Mhm. Mhm.
so I kind of wanted to showcase that instead of just like a continuous adventure of just nonstop action and drama. I wanted to showcase that, even people who quote unquote can be considered heroes also have a day to day.
Yeah. So you want him to have that feel like, "Oh, I know him," or I could know him. I could see him in my neighborhood type of thing, no matter what neighborhood you live in.
Yes, yes. Yes, and, the story is based in LA. He is Oakland raised, and, yeah, I kinda wanted to, showcase a little realism in it. Even with the story and stuff like that, the idea I have is very urban, great style, great fashion with the characters and their designs and their clothing, and, wanted to make sure that Ani Hunter is definitely successful.
Yeah.
It's a story that I definitely fell in love with. Um, over time, it's been in production for about almost a year and a half now,
Wow.
and at first I was a little unsure. That's why I waited so long to put it out. But then after a while, as the artwork was progressing, I was like, okay, I like this. I like
Okay.
this. And I feel
Okay.
like, and so far, people who've read it, read the first 24 pages and gave me feedback. They enjoyed it so far too. So, it's definitely something that I want to make sure that it's in the hands of everybody.
Now, if you don't mind, touching a little bit, what was it that was making you a little like, ooh, like hesitant? We have a lot of viewers that are doing indie comics, and sometimes they're
Mhm.
scared too. So we try to pull, a little bit of the ups and downs of creating something.
Well, you never know what's going to stick and what's not going to stick. You never know what people essentially are into, and when's the right time to release something. You know, for one, it is a bad economy out there today in the world climate. So a lot of people are spending less and less on physical books and more digital products, more subscriptions where you're able to get more for less. So, spending and making indie comics, for example, is a little bit of costly adventure, you know.
Mhm.
We do it because we want to look, we have that vision to showcase stories in a visual manner, because me personally, I have no problem writing it as a novel, but for the stories I want to tell, I want to translate what's here to paper so people can see it the way I envision it,
Got you.
right?
Okay.
And it doesn't, to me, have the same effect as a novel. At least in my day to day. Like for
Mhm.
example, I like reading comics now, manga, graphic novels, only because it's easy for me to just visualize and read the story. When I was growing up, because life was much simpler, I was able to grab a book and just dive into it and just sink myself into it in hours at an end and not have anything to worry about. But now it's kind of like when I start to read a regular book that's not self help, I think about, okay, I gotta go get groceries, or I gotta go work out, or I gotta cook tonight, or I gotta do this, I gotta do that. So it takes away from my experience reading the book because I don't have something visually to hone in on.
Mhm.
So, you know, with that, I wanted to ultimately make sure that, was this something that people would enjoy? So, I was posting a little bit about it. I was saying that, okay, this is something that's coming up next, or something that's coming soon. People, responded well on social media, on TikTok, and I was like, okay, we're gonna give this a shot, and it definitely did well at conventions. Um, Personally, I didn't need to do a Kickstarter, you know, um, but I wanted to build up some type of hype
Mhm.
for Ani Hunter. I wanted people to learn about it more, because when I come around for next year at conventions or the year after, I want people to say, "Oh, I got the first book. Let me get the second." or what happened next, and it's crazy because people are already asking me what's next, and I'm like, I don't know. They're like, does he get powers? I'm like, I don't
I
know,
don't know.
um um but yeah, I wanted to create a story that people actually enjoy, um because I have dozens of stories, you
Mhm.
know but I also want to put smiles on people's faces, and I also want to inspire. I have friends with kids that see my content on TikTok. My mom's a teacher. Sometimes,
Oh,
she tells me that people find out about my stuff at her school, through seeing my
aw.
posts and stuff like that. Um, so I want to also make sure that, they're looking at stories that can kind of inspire them a little bit. Ani Hunter is definitely a little gory, so it's definitely not for kids. Um,
Would you say like PG-13 or,
PG-13. I'll say
PG-13? Okay.
PG-13. Yeah, yeah, for like teens and up. Because I mean, I wanted to talk. I was watching, you know, Goku and Piccolo throw a special beam cannon through Raditz at like 4 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My
So
kids too, pretty much.
yeah,
Like, they grew up on certain animes, because there
yeah.
are certain ones that I'm like, "You can't watch Full Metal just yet. You can't watch
Ah,
Demon Slayer just yet." You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
but they were watching Naruto and,
Mhm.
so yeah, and One Piece.
So, yeah, Naruto, yeah, that Chunin exam arc, I saw that as a kid. I was like, oh boy, Orochimaru was something else. But but yeah, I wanna make people smile. I wanna make people I wanna give people that wow factor. So that's why I continue to do it.
Have you always been interested in paranormal and aliens and things of that nature, or was that something that you discovered as an adult and you were like, "I like this," and that's how you incorporated it into this comic?
Um in the way paranormal is described in my story, it's the same thing as like a normal comic would present itself as a superpower.
Got you. Okay.
You know, I don't use the word superhero at
Mhm.
all in any of my stories, because we have that already. You know what I mean? Marvel has that, DC has that. Uh, parent like if we were in today's society, right, in
Mm,
America, in reality, if we were to see someone walk around and push a car with nothing but just moving their hand like this, we'd say, okay, that person's using some type of paranormal power
gotcha.
or some type of psychic power or ESP
Mm,
or something.
okay.
So it's almost like in that aspect, like, okay, this person is using some type of special ability, that's giving them this type of strength or this type of ability, against another person with abilities.
Oh, okay.
And this
Okay, I understand now.
and it's at a point where it's like almost standardized.
Mhm.
You
How
know?
did you come up with this story? Like, was it just
Woo.
a dream? Like, I always ask that, is it a dream, or was it just you were, riding the train one day and you were like, "Hmm."
No, so it did start on the train.
I was
It
gonna, those
did.
New York
Yep,
tunnels,
yep, yep, yep.
you
It did start.
when there's no
I gotta
cell
say,
phone
it did.
service, like,
It
you
did.
be
Yep.
seeing things out in them tunnels, and next thing you know, you don't have a story. Like, I get it, I get it. I rode the D train my whole life, like, it was Bronx straight up all day.
you know, it did start off on the train. Um, it's crazy because like this whole world and stuff like that, I've been idealizing this stuff since 2016.
Oh, wow.
So it's been a pretty long time, and a lot of the stories now, like Icarus Metro, the characters actually first started off as a web comic that I have on Webtoons called Juice,
No.
and I'm actually writing that into a light novel right now. But that was like the beginning of it. Well, that wasn't the beginning of it. The beginning of it is a story that I'm kind of like idealizing right now, like putting it into like a comic format. So it started off as fan fiction.
Uh-huh.
So I started like thinking about like fan fiction, Wattpad, stuff like that for DC Comics. And then all of a sudden I had a bunch of characters that were not Batman and Superman, that were not the Justice League. I was like, oh, what if I create a new city in this world and it had this, and that? And then I started adding onto it and adding onto it and adding onto it. And then I just kind of forgot about, the Justice League and all those other people. And then that spun off into another story. And then I was just like, maybe this spin off into another story. And then I got to the webcomic. And then I made Icarus Metro, which is like the webcomic, but in the future, because I kind of didn't want to mess with like the backstories and lore of the characters and such.
Okay.
And then Ani Hunter is just something within the world, but just more street level on the other side in LA. While this is inside the Icarus Metro area, but Icarus Metro area is basically like the tri-state area.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's just three big cities. I would say New York, Newark, and Stanford. I've actually lived in Stanford, so I was that's why I kind
You
of
wanted places that you were familiar with.
yeah, especially when like idealizing it, I want to be able to visualize the city. That's why whenever I travel, with friends and stuff like that, I like take a lot of pictures of like the city area and stuff and just use
Oh.
that as reference images for like new stories and stuff.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. That's a cool idea. I've never heard anybody do that. That's actually really genius.
Yeah, because sometimes it's hard to just think of stuff from scratch. You want to be as true to realistic as possible sometimes.
Got it. When it comes to your writing style, do you do character first or world first or story first, and then everything kind of just falls into place?
Um, I do story first. I kind of figure out what I want to write about first, like the actual story. What I want to focus on. Do I want to make a story about a kid? Do I want to make a story about a man? Do I want to make a story about a woman? Do I want to make a story about a team? Um, and then once I like figure out what I want to write about, then I idealize the characters, and then after I idealize the characters, and I have like the plot line of like what the story is going to be about, then I focus on like character bios. You know, what are the character relationships? What are the characters' backstories? And then I go into like the outline and the actual script.
Okay, that's cool. So you flush out the story first, or you just like word vomit everything
Oh,
and then edit from there.
heavy word vomit. You know, I have a Google Doc, for those who watch it, don't hack me, but I got a Google Doc full of stories or full of word vomit, plot outlines that
Wow.
I probably never will touch, but
But you have it there just in case, you never know.
yeah, but I have it just in case, someone says, "Hey, we want you to do this, 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 this," and I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I got something for that. I got something for this."
Yeah.
But I definitely like to have every story just a little bit different. But then, leave room for potential crossovers and stuff. And I don't know where making comics is going to take me,
Mhm.
but I would want to, if possible, um, always have the ability to share with people.
Yeah. So we met at BlurredCon.
Yes.
You had your booth, everything was set up. I had passed by and had seen the comic. It definitely stood out. Like I liked your display and everything. Everything stood out. Was that your first time? I can't remember. Was that your first time at BlurredCon?
Yes, yes, it was. It was my first time there as a vendor. I went the previous year to do a panel, but I didn't. I came on Sunday, I believe. But yeah, that was my first time at BlurCon.
And how did you like it?
It was great. It was great. I'll tell you one thing. It definitely was hot. You know, it was hot up
Look.
in there. But no, it was definitely a great con. I love the representation. I love that we were able to just enjoy nerddom and fellowship with our people. Um, the cosplays were amazing.
Look.
Honestly, because I did go to DreamCon like 2 weeks later or 2 3 weeks later, and the cosplay at BlurCon was a lot better. I saw a lot more cosplayers.
I have always said that I do not have, well, secretly, I do have a favorite convention. I will never say what it is,
Mhm,
but certain conventions hold different places in my heart. And the cosplayers at BlurredCon do not come to play. They
mm,
come to show up and show out. They are like, "Don't play with me." Like, I am all in.
mhm.
And it every year I am amazed at the level of craftsmanship with the cosplayers at BlurredCon. It just blows my mind every year. So,
Yeah, it's like a fashion show. I didn't expect it because I had a friend who came and it was his first convention and he went full cosplay. Like I didn't even know him to actually like do cosplay or be into anything nerddom or anything like that. But he just came full cosplay, and I was just like, "Whoa!" I was like, I didn't expect it to be like that because I only
mhm.
went like for a couple of hours the previous year, but I got to see the full depth of it.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing every year so far. And how was DreamCon for you? I only travel the East Coast, so I don't get to travel anywhere else. I usually stick to the East Coast. I've heard mixed things about DreamCon. How was the experience for you?
What was amazing to me, it was definitely a little different this year because it was my second year going,
Okay.
and that's my farthest convention that I go to. So that's the only one. I can only do one of those. That's a lot to that's a lot of baggage claim.
Yeah.
Um, but
Did you go as a vendor?
yes, yes,
Okay, okay, that's okay.
yeah, that's a lot. Of
Yeah.
it'd be easier if it wasn't, but yeah. Um, it was definitely a great con. This year was a little different because it was a different location. It was in Austin this year. Um,
Oh, okay.
so although uh I feel like Dallas had a little bit more, like, food wise, but
Okay.
I definitely, I can say that I visited a lot of Texas. I went to Houston earlier this year. I went to Austin this year. I went to Dallas last year. So,
Oh, wow.
I could definitely say that, it was a great con,
Okay.
got to network a lot. Saw a lot of, new vendors with stuff that's on my Christmas shopping list. So
Yeah. I'm usually the same way too. I'm like, oh, like, so I get put on a budget when I go to conventions.
okay.
I get put like on a very strict budget, and I always feel bad because I literally want to buy pretty much one of everything all the time. Like, it's so tough, and for lack of a better phrase, the sales pitch that a lot of vendors have, like, I'm sold. I'm like, yes, and then I'm like, oh, but the card is only limited to food and gas, like,
Yep.
and so I completely get the wish list of, I may not buy it here, but I'm going to your website in like 2 weeks.
It's
So I
it's
get it.
it's rough because, like, for example, I I saw a vendor of rugs, right? And I wanna get a nice anime rug, and I saw this big rug of the Squirtle Squad from Pokemon, and I'm like, "Oh, I
No
need
way.
that." I did.
I
I
would
was
have
like
100% bought that.
I was
Like,
like, "I need that." I said, "How much is that?" They said 200. I said, "Oh, no."
I know. My budget is $50.
You
Like, so you could just imagine the heartbreak every time I'm like, I have to pick carefully what I get. And it's into my food budget too. So it's like, do I starve or do I get this comic?
Oh,
Like,
I would starve.
I have before.
You know?
I have before. Like, it's not usually if I'm with like trusted friends, I'm like,
Mhm.
"Hey, you want to split a sandwich that you have to buy for me?"
Yeah,
Yeah, so I completely get it.
because I go to,
Um,
I go to one convention a year just for pleasure.
oh, okay.
Just not vending, just incognito, I'll
Is it
dress up
different?
like that.
Is it a different con every year or is it the same con?
Same con,
Oh,
same
which
con.
one?
That's a secret. No, I'm joking,
Oh,
I'm joking. Anime NYC, and it's tough because, I think my first year I went, I had a budget, and the way I do budget is I just bring cash, right?
oh, that's
I had a
smart.
Yeah, I had a budget of 200 cash, right? and let's just say that I went extremely over budget my first time going.
Wow.
You
I
know,
bet.
I
I
bust out the
bet.
card. I was like, "Yep, I got to get this. I got to get that." So I upped the budget last year,
Wow.
and still had to bring out the card. Because I think the first year that whole budget went to like that Hypeland Akatsuki jacket, and I just
Ooh.
like I need this. It's so cold. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my pleasure con. I
I
definitely
wanted
say
to go
that.
this year, and unfortunately, I can't. I've never been to Anime NYC. I wanted to go, and unfortunately, this year I can't. I'll be at New York Comic Con. Are you going to that one?
No, no, unfortunately not. I went for about 3 years. I think I want to say 2017, 2018, 2019. And what disappointed me is I couldn't, I can never like I guess meet any celebrities there.
Mm,
I think I met like maybe the Black Power Ranger and the Blue Power Ranger, and I got them to
got
sign a
it.
Funko Pop. And I
Okay.
met Nicole Nichols, rest in peace.
Oh, I'm
You
so
know,
jealous. Well, you can't see it, but or maybe you can. But I have Aurora Pop statue
oh
and the
yeah, the top.
beam beaming up Scotty of her in there.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I met her. I actually seen her twice. Yeah, I seen her twice. I saw her at Rhode Island Comic Con. That's another Comic Con you should probably check out.
Ooh, Rhode Island. Okay.
Rhode Island Comic Con. They have at least like 50 to 100 guests like every year.
Dang.
Like this year, they have like Evange Lilly from with the Wasp. They have like the whole cast of like,
For me, it's wrestlers. I met Rakishi last year. I got to touch him. I smelt him. I went over budget for Rikishi. I called, I was like, look, this is happening. Y'all not taking this away from me. Like, I'll go into debt just to, and I did. I
so
did.
when I
I got oh, that's my baby right there. That's my future baby daddy. He don't know it yet.
so the, so when I met Ric Flair there.
Oh, I met Ric Flair at GalaxyCon in Raleigh.
Okay, okay. I know he goes there sometimes
Yeah.
too. Yeah, he was there. Because that year, I met I had like a photo op with Stan Lee. I met Stan Lee there. I met Gal Gadot, Ray
Ooh.
Fisher, Millie Bobby Brown, Christian Slater, Frank
Wow.
Grillo, bunch of Power Rangers, Jason David Frank, rest in peace.
That's dope.
Um, and there was a bunch of other wrestlers. The cast of Deadpool was there, except for Ryan Reynolds. Uh,
That's pretty dope though. That's still dope though. So you go to a lot of conventions too, don't you?
Now it's more so vending, but
Okay.
before vending, like, because it's funny. My first convention I've ever been to was in 2016.
Oh, okay, okay.
I thought that there was only two conventions. I thought there was New York Comic Con and San Diego Comic Con. I
Okay.
didn't know anything about
Yeah,
any
everything
other.
else.
I didn't know anything. And I found out about this convention in New Jersey called Garden State Comic Fest, and grateful for the opportunity to even get a chance to go to that convention. They had, I think I met Jason David Frank there,
Okay.
and I also met one of the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I just can't figure out. I can't remember his name. But I
It wasn't
also,
Eastman, was it?
huh?
Wasn't Eastman, was it?
It was Eastman.
Oh,
Yeah, it was Eastman. He signed a copy of a turtle comic for me. Yeah,
dang.
it was Eastman. Yeah.
Imma hang out with you.
You know,
I'm out here just looking for wrestlers. You looking
you
for
know?
everybody. Imma hang out with you from now on. I gotta be looking for
Uh,
everybody too. I'm missing out.
it's funny because everybody says the same thing. Like, oh, how you meet all these people? How you taking pictures of all these different people? Like, I literally met like the whole cast of Arrow. I met like so many different like
Wow.
voice actors and shows. William Shatner. Uh, just and it's just random occurrences. I've also been on because of that convention. My first convention, I got a chance to be on as a customer on the show Comic Book Man on season 6.
Ming Chang is my friend.
Yeah.
I'm friends, like legit
You
friends.
know
Like
your friends? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I went to So for those that don't know about me or whatever, I'm from the Bronx. I went to Teaneck High School in New Jersey. So we were traveling to North Carolina, and I was like, I want to go to Red Bank.
Mhm,
And we went there, and that's where we met the whole cast, the comic book men.
mhm.
And Ming Chang and I kept in contact, and that was like in 2015, 2016, and we kept in contact, and we still like we hang out. He's been on the show before. We text and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's so dope that you're
Yeah,
that you met
Ming's
the cast too.
Ming's a great guy. I actually just saw him recently at Big Lick, Comic-Con in VA earlier this year.
He's another one that travels, like, he goes to
Yeah,
all cons though, but he goes everywhere though. Like,
everywhere.
I'm too old, my back always
Yeah.
hurts, like, I need to stay on the East Coast.
It's funny because I was like, "Hey," and I stopped him and he, looking like just a regular person. I was like, "Look," I was like, "I was on your show, this is that." Like, he's like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, this book," I was like, "Yeah, yeah,"
Isn't he He's just, like,
um,
so down to earth, not me,
you
I'd be
know
bougie about it.
yeah, and, I live in New Jersey, so Red Bank's like 30 minutes from me, and
Right.
I can go there. Well, my brother lives by there, but, yeah, that store is amazing. I haven't got a chance to go to it as often, and I
I
heard that
wanna see the
they
new because they have the new location. Have you been
yeah,
to the new location?
I haven't been to the new location, and I know they also have a podcast studio now
Mhm.
called A Shared
A
Universe.
shared universe. Yeah, I have
Yeah,
he sent me merch from it,
mm,
to display on my stuff, so yeah. Yeah, I wanna see it too because 'cause he's got I forget the name of the building, but it's a nice looking building.
yeah, yeah, so I wanna maybe, like, do, like, a episode or something there,
That'd
something,
be dope. Yeah. Oh,
but,
man. Yeah, I definitely
yeah.
need to hang out with you at cons,
Oh, yeah,
like
anytime, anytime.
What made you decide to go from attendee to vendor?
Well, I guess making the books, I wanted to personally, I'm not good at social media, you
Oh, okay.
know? I'm good at, like, analytics behind social media,
Mhm.
because that's what I've basically been doing for the last couple of years, but I actually like making, like, that content, as some people can see from my social media. The best way I could put stuff out there is to do some silly dances and hold a book in my hand. So, I wanted to be face to face with people. That's more of my expertise to, talk to people, and kind of show them what we have to offer. I rather just have meaningful conversation and meet new potential fans of my work, rather than try to do like that interpersonal or non-personal interaction online.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, I wanted to do the vendor thing, and also just still have the ability to go to the conventions, which is more of like a excuse to go, you know, to pick and choose which ones is worth it for the year.
I like it. I like that
You know,
that way of putting it.
yeah, yeah, because when people come knocking, I'm be like, oh no, no, I was there for this, I was there for that, no, no,
It was
I was doing
business.
this. It was business. It was business. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh, I
Just
could trust me.
Uncle Sam looking at me. Uh-huh.
I get it. Look, I'm the one that's given a gift card of $50 and it's like, "Good luck." So I
Yeah.
get it. Like, I understand, like you also have a playlist on your website. Um, is that music that you've made or is it music that you just listen to for inspiration? I was wondering about because there's like 3 different playlists on
Yes.
your website, and I'm like, does he make music too? What
I used to make music,
Okay.
and I would definitely say that those songs aren't music I made.
Oh, okay, okay.
But they're music that playlists that I've curated that fit well with the books.
Oh,
So, like the Icarus Metro playlist 1 and 2, are like playlists you should probably listen to while reading the book so you can kind of get more of a feeling of the feeling that I was feeling when I was writing the story.
oh, I love that.
So same thing with Ani Hunter, more of the feel, the energy that I'm trying to give off when with the story. Those are the playlists. We haven't yet developed like original soundtracks for the stories.
Okay.
We hope to soon. I know that's something that I am going to do for the light novel, but at this moment, those are just more so curated playlists for the actual books,
Mhm.
because with the new apparel that we're trying to bring out and the curated playlist, I want people to look good and be able to just get more of an experience. That's I want to provide more of an experience for people.
I like that your comic book is an all-around immersive experience with the
Yeah.
merch, the music. I love that playlist idea of because I saw it and I'm like, "What is this?" And then I went into it and I'm like, "Does he write music? Like, does he create this music?" And then I was like, "Let me not deep dive so that way he can explain and tell me exactly what it is." So I love that it's part of the creative process that you went through and you're giving us that gift of kind of parallel universe being there with
Mhm.
you type of thing. I really like that. What made you decide to be like, "You know what? I want people to feel what I was feeling in the moment."
Uh, I don't know. Something just it was just an idea that just came to me one day. I just said, you know what? I don't want to. I feel like giving somebody a book and a story in that manner just wasn't enough.
Okay.
I wanted people to have more of experience. A lot of people don't know that that playlist exists, and I want to kind of showcase that a little bit more. But a lot of people don't know that that playlist exists. But I do want to, and I'm always trying to figure out ways that, okay, what can I give people in addition to the book so they can, have more of an experience, because I know, for example, when I, read a story or, read One Piece or watch anime, um, I create more of an experience for myself. I'll turn on the lights, I'll turn on the LED lights, uh, I have a glass of wine, maybe some food, you know, have a nice shower, come out the shower with a glass of wine and turn on One Piece, the new episode every Saturday night. And that's my experience,
Wow.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
So I kind of want people to have some type of experience of their own when reading these types of stories, until we get it to the aspect of turning into animation.
Wow. Is that the next goal for everything animation?
Yes, yes. I got to figure out because I mean, animation is very expensive,
It is.
and it's very time consuming, and it takes a lot of resources.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure exactly what project we want to turn to animation,
Okay.
but we'll figure that out as times goes. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, definitely. So the Kickstarter has 19 days left. Um, what's the next con that you're going to?
So we're all finished with cons for
Okay.
this year. Um, but you can catch me at Anime NYC if you guys want to, if you see me walking around. I'm not going to tell anybody what my cosplay is until I get to the convention.
Oh, you're gonna cosplay
I'm
too?
going to
I didn't know you
cosplay.
cosplay.
So last year I cosplayed as Jinbei for One Piece. So
Oh,
this year I don't know because I did that cosplay like last minute.
is that picture on your Instagram? Do you
It
have a picture
is.
of that?
It
Okay, I'm
is.
gonna have to
Yeah.
deep dive. Maybe I didn't scroll far enough because
it's
that'd be.
it's on my personal. It's on my personal.
Oh, okay, okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
why.
It's on my
Okay.
personal. But I I don't know. I might be a Pokemon this year, so we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. You
Oh,
know.
snap. Love
you
it.
know.
That's amazing. Well, like I said, there's 19 days to the Kickstarter. We're gonna link the Kickstarter in the description. Where else can they find you, Calvin?
You can find us on TikTok. You can find us on Twitter. TikTok is Icarus Metro Comics. Twitter is Icarus Metro. You can find us on Instagram, Icarus Metro Comics. And if you go on to Instagram, you click on the link in the bio. It says campsite.bio/Icarus Metro Comics. You can see all the links. You can see the playlist we were talking about. You can see the Kickstarter. You can see the website. The website, you can subscribe. You get, deals and discounts on future books. You can also read a glimpse of a short story that I started writing called Crimson Spirits, because that may be the next project. So you can definitely see a bunch of different things that we're doing on our website, on the Kickstarter. You can see the different goals, the stretch goals. You can see the streetwear. We have one of the cons, of course, we're going to try to do BlurCon and DreamCon next year. We're also looking at Phi Geekdom, and PA next year. And you can always support by sharing and engaging in our stuff.
Exactly. Well, Calvin, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Let me close down this show. Woo! Thank you everybody for stopping by and tuning in. I appreciate you so so much. Like I said, the links to everything, including the Kickstarter, is in the description below. Please go ahead and support Icarus Metro. You will not regret it. And I will see you guys next week. Bye everyone.